And the police state ends with me. And we've made it one more day. Again today, I'm going to be saying things that will really require you having watched the what happened summary and detailed videos. They're not the first video, but the second video and on, the summary and details videos, because this is a documentary daily and it builds with time. So please, if you have the time, take a look at those videos, as they will fill you in on many things I will talk about today. So if some of the things I say today cause you to have questions, they will be answered in those videos. So today I'm going to go over another item that was unanimously approved by the Bartlesville City Council at the meeting on September 8th, 2015. Again, you can read the item I put down in the description of the video below. If you'll click on the PDF file and then go to page 16, page 16 of the PDF, you'll be able to read it. Now this is the agenda item that was approved. Quote, amending the budget of the City of Bartlesville, Oklahoma for fiscal year 2015-2016, appropriating unanticipated revenues for the purchase of forensic software and equipment for the Bartlesville Police Department. And in the resolution that I pointed you to in the PDF file, it reads, quote, whereas the City of Bartlesville will receive proceeds in the amount of $20,000 to be used by the police department for software and equipment. Now notice that there's a obvious spelling error there. It should say, whereas the City of Bartlesville will receive proceeds in the amount of $20,000, or it should have said, whereas the City of Bartlesville has received proceeds in the amount of $20,000. Either way, it says to be used by the Bartlesville Department for software and equipment, and the agenda item specifically said forensic software and equipment. So, someone donated $20,000 and designated those funds for the sole purpose of forensic software and equipment for the Bartlesville Police Department. There's no other way that could be. These cannot be funds that are just general unanticipated sales tax revenue or something, because then someone would not have been able to designate them for their use. Someone donated the $20,000 and designated the funds for the specific use. Now we don't know who that is yet, but we're hoping to find out. So who donated those funds? Was it Jane Phillips Medical Center, or the large oil company in town that employs the current city council board, Bartlesville City Council member that I would have been running in against if I would have continued to run for city council? Or was it an employee of theirs, or of Jane Phillips, or someone with a vested interest from these corporations? Who was it? Usually when someone donates money to the Bartlesville Police, there is a press release naming the person or corporation, and the media covers it. Why not this time? Why can't we know who gave this money? Does this person want to be anonymous? I mean, who gives $20,000 and doesn't want people to know that they're a good giving person and they gave $20,000? Well, I've never seen it happen in the past where somebody secretly gave money for a very specific issue and didn't want to be known about. Come on. Was it Jane Phillips Medical Center, or an employee of theirs, or someone else with a vested interest? Is this a bribe? It sure looks like a bribe. Is this an attempt to now say, well, since our first forensic analysis by the OSBI Forensic Lab didn't come up with anything, we'll work harder and find something now, after all these months and going on 10 months of investigating me for just anything, including going through my medical records, a privacy violation, tearing my house apart looking for drugs, stealing property, trespassing on my property, stealing me, catching them on video doing it, stealing property off of my property, damaging my fence, climbing over it. So what this means is that they would try to plant something and then say, well, we have the software and we caught it. But plant something. Of course, they may have already planted false evidence before they even send it to the OSBI, as the Bartlesville Police have even lied in a search warrant affidavit under oath. They're just absolute liars. And for them to just, it has to be unbelievable to anyone to hear that the local large employers in a small town are having the police just tear a city council candidate's life apart like this. It's just unbelievable. It's just insane. I better get back to my notes because I'm getting upset here. And I hope I'm being concise in my communications. It's hard. I know I'm a little choppy because I'm upset today. I have a bit of a headache. So is this a bribe? It looks like a bribe. Or is this a payoff and bribe to just continue to lie and never end the investigation into a city council candidate that Jane Phillips Medical Center and the other large employer in town doesn't want running? Remember, the person I'd be running against was appointed to the Bartlesville City Council, an employee of the large oil company in town, and to my knowledge, never ran against another candidate. And if you go back and watch the videos about the City Council, you'll know this person contacted me. I did not contact this person. They contacted me. And they said things to the effect that they didn't even want to do the job of City Council member, that they would much rather give it to someone who wanted it. Strange things. But that was just really all apparently a ruse, and they just didn't want anybody to run against them. They don't want to have to run for city council. They want to be appointed. And I'll point you back to the video, City Council Involvement, Dirty Politics Turns into Corruption. It's just 6 minutes long, so you might want to watch that. Definitely want to watch that and take a look at it again. $20,000 is a lot of money to a small police department in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, with only about 36,000 people living here. So with all that money spent on forensic software and equipment in this little town, and passing the spending item along with 2 other civil asset forfeiture agreements with the Washington County of Oklahoma DA's office, do they plan to begin seizing many citizens of Bartlesville's home computers and other computer equipment, calling everyone a criminal? I mean, you wouldn't spend this $20,000 just to use it once, right? Unless it's a bribe. I mean, they've already said they use the OSBI forensic lab, and my understanding is the cost is less than $600. Why now spend $20,000 for this? I also said it would take 2 months to do their analysis. Well, isn't it going on now 7 months? So they know they've got it back, and I've not been arrested or charged. They know there's nothing there, because there is nothing there. Because I didn't do what they're claiming. Of course I didn't do what they're claiming, because they were here for drugs. And the only way they're going to be able to match what the search warrant, which was just a made-up whole thing, is to plant some evidence. Again, I hope I'm being concise. It looks like a bribe to me. So, tell us, who gave you this money and why? Bartlesville? City of Bartlesville? Bartlesville Police Department? Tell us who gave you this money and why. Let us do some research on it. It certainly looks like a bribe to me to cover up bad deeds by Jane Phillips Medical Center leadership and others. What's going on here? $20,000 for a tiny little police department in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, with 36,000 people, in a county, Washington County, Oklahoma, that only has 52,000 people. $20,000? It looks like a bribe to me. $20,000 in this little town for computer software and equipment to forensically analyze citizens' computers. Know that, people. Your home computers, they're coming for them. It's a bribe. It's not an accusation, but if I get evidence, it will be. The police state ends with me. With that said, I'll see you tomorrow.